Hi there, this is Chimaroke, aka Maro, coming to you live on this platform as usual. Like I always do, my soul searching and spiritual digging. I've come up with I pondered some questions and pondered some concepts that I want to share with you that I believe and know that is going to leave you a better person, that is going to reveal things to you, that is going to feed your mind with the right knowledge that will cause a change in your life and the lives of every other thing around you. Is when you change, your environment changes. It's not the other way around. So, this concept is nothing but the concept of choice making. How do we make choices? Why is it that some people make good choices, and why is it that some people make bad choices? Why is it that sometimes we get it right and sometimes we don't? So, first off, we're going to start with, how the Creator has bestowed upon us the freedom to make choices, which is called free will. Free will is nothing but the ability to make a choice. It is one of the biggest gifts that a creator can give to a creature, because there is risk attached to it and there is danger inherent in doing that, because it is capable of producing chaos and destroying even what you are trying to create. So it is a walk on the edge for a creator to do that. But God, in His infinite goodness and mercy and love and generosity, has done that. No other person can do it. If you think that a human being can do it, or you think that you as a human you can do that, please answer the two questions that I'm about to ask now. Number one question: would you hire someone that cannot follow your instructions? Question number two: if you had the ability to program a computer, would you program the computer in such a way that it can go contrary to the commands you give to it? If you answer this question sincerely and honestly, then I think we should be on the same page by now. So you understand the risk attached to it, because if you cannot run the risk yourself, then you see how great God is for doing that. But He doesn't do it, He's not considering the risk and the danger. He is considering us. He wants to bring us to a place where we cannot blame anybody else but ourselves. We cannot say, Lord, you are the one that made me do this. No. You cannot say that He is responsible for your downfall. No. If you are falling, if you're having issues, it is as a result of the choices you are making. You make your circumstances. You are the wielder of your circumstance. Whatever circumstance you find yourself in, it is your choice that has led to that. Whether you say you were peddled some influence, that is immaterial, because you also have a choice to take the influence or not. So choice making eliminates every other blame from every other person except you. So you are to blame for anything that you're going through. I'm so sorry. It is hard, but that's truth. What you do not allow cannot come to you. So now, God has given us this wonderful gift. So why is it that we are still making the wrong choices? Is there a reason? Is there a science behind choice making that we can follow so that we can always make good choices? Because we cannot overemphasize the benefits of making good choices. If Adam and Eve had made the right choice, Noah wouldn't have needed to build an ark. Abraham wouldn't have left Mesopotamia, lived in a desert. Jacob wouldn't have to run away. Cain couldn't have killed Abel. And all the wars wouldn't have happened. You know, Christ wouldn't need to die on the cross. So you see the consequences of making poor decisions. So it is important that we learn and we understand how to make good choices. It is very, very important. Because you cannot be said to be mature or spiritually mature until you learn how to make good choices, until you learn how to surrender the free will you have or align the free will you have to the will of the Creator. So you must come to that point. You must come to that point of understanding. So how do you make good choices? Or how do you make choices? How do we make choices in general? I'll tell us what we do when we make bad choices so that we can guess what to do to make good choices. Each time you trade the intangible for the tangible, you will be making a poor choice. Each time you trade what cannot be seen for what can be seen, you are making a poor choice. And don't get it confused. A lot of people believe that it is only those in the marketplace, those who are involved in buying and selling, that are the ones involved in the trade, or people who are in the floor, people who play the stock market. No. Each time you make a decision, you are trading. You are giving up something for something else. Every choice you make is a trade. It happens so fast that we don't see it. But when you say, I choose this, that means you are giving up something else. So now, are there biblical truths? Do we have biblical evidence or support to back up this my science of choice making? Yes, there is ample evidence. I can cite 3 for you. Maybe you can bring out more. Okay, let's start from Genesis. Let's start from the story of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve took an apple. They made a decision to take an apple. They made a choice of the apple. Like I told you, there's always a trade-off. You're trading something for some whenever you make a choice. So as they were taking the apple, they were giving up something else. So what did they give up? They gave up the fellowship that they had with the Creator. Now, the fellowship they had with the Creator is something intangible. But the apple they got in return was very tangible. Are you seeing what I'm saying now? Okay, maybe that's too subjective. Let's come home. Let's come closer. Now, somewhere in the book of Jeremiah or Isaiah, one of the book of prophets, there was made mention of a particular king called the king of Tyre and Sidon. Tyre and Sidon was an island without a major resource. But through the wisdom of the king of Tyre and Sidon became a remarkable place in the world when it existed. Because it was a trade route for merchant ships. And with the wisdom of the king of Tyre and Sidon, he transformed the nation of Tyre and Sidon to a first-class economy because of his wisdom. But the king of Tyre and Sidon was punished, was demoted. I won't say demoted, but he was making good choices, but after a while he started making bad choices. And The Bible recorded that God chased him out of Zion. When you say somebody is chased out of Zion, you are saying that that person was chased out of the lofty position that he used to occupy. He was chased from it to a lower one. In other words, he was spiritually demoted. In other words, he retrogressed. So, and what was God's reason? God said, because you have traded your wisdom for splendor. Now, splendor. Is splendor something you can see? Oh, yes. When you talk about the splendor, this is splendor of the king. You're talking about his majesty. You're talking about his apparels. You're talking about his throne, what his throne looks like. You're talking about his convoy. You're talking about the things, the tangible things that surround him. Splendor. But when you talk about wisdom, that's something that can never be seen. So that is why we are saying that the king of Tyre and Sidon was spiritually demoted because he traded his wisdom for splendor. He traded what is unseen for what is seen. Does this hold with my principle? If it doesn't, I have one very last one. Okay, second to the last. Now let's look at the story of Jacob and Esau. The pot of porridge that Jacob gave to Esau for his birthright was tangible, right? It's something that can be seen. Good. But the birthright, a birthright is something that is not tangible. There's no document to transfer a birthright. It is there, it is intangible. So when Esau traded his birthright for a pot of porridge, he was trading what is intangible for what is tangible. So, and God calls that profanity. Anytime you trade what is intangible for what is tangible, you are labeled profane by the Creator, and He doesn't like it. And it is tantamount to making a poor decision. It is a poor choice.